We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Wednesday, September 25th, midweek.
Midweek, hump day.
Made it? Okay, I'll take that. I'm with Brandon and Lindsay. I'm Tori. Al has the day off. Let's get right to it, guys. The White House just released this transcript. I have it in my hands of the call between the president and Ukraine's leader. And in it, Trump urged the foreign leader to investigate his political rival, Joe Biden, saying, quote, "There's a lot of talk about Biden's son, that Biden stopped the prosecution, and a lot of people want to find out about that. So whatever you can do with the attorney general would be great." Biden went around bragging that he stopped the prosecution. So if you can look into it, it sounds horrible to me. This follows House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's announcement yesterday that she was opening a formal impeachment inquiry. But get this. According to CNN, Trump called Pelosi before her announcement and was surprised that she actually moved forward with the inquiry after his personal plea. And you better believe late night, they were all over this. Here are the highlights.
Trump would be the third president to face impeachment proceedings, and he's already promising that if he does, it will be the biggest and most beautiful impeachment in history. That I can tell you.
2 years of avoiding it, Trump may finally face articles of impeachment, which, believe me, he is not happy about. It's impeachment, which Trump hates, plus articles, which he hates even more.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Good time. So the one thing we want you guys to get out of this, and everyone in the studio and ourselves, is just a takeaway of, I get it now. We want to educate a bit on what's going on. So I have the transcripts here. I believe this is totally enough. This is as close to a quid pro quo as you can get. This is against a lot of election laws and campaign laws, and I think impeachment is absolutely worth it. Now, Lindsay, you have a different opinion?
Because I look at this and I say, here we go again. You know, I know that if this is true, remember these are just allegations, we don't see anything in this document that says it's tying the two together. So he's not also leveraging the military aid for money.
Oh, it was just a coincidence that he held congressional aid, $300-something million, right after this phone call.
But in the phone call that he released, there's nothing in here that says that he said, I'm not going to give you your military aid if you don't do X, Y, and Z.
Let me ask you this. So if the whistleblower comes in
and we get that information, then that is an actual case. For me, Pelosi doesn't have that information. For her to move forward, it was abrupt. I understand him giving her the phone call last night because, and Mitch McConnell, he's really saying, why are you guys moving so fast? Let's take it one day at a time. I think everyone's on the same page that we can impeach if we're given the right information to move forward. If not, this can be a disaster.
I completely agree. This could go terribly wrong. But Brandon, as someone that just sort of isn't involved like we are you sick of this? Do you want to hear more about this? Because to me, this is a constitutional crisis.
No, Tori, I hear you saying, I hear what you're saying, and I'm glad you're breaking it down for people like me and our viewer, but I'm hearing a lot of ifs and hypotheticals on your end. On Lindsay's end, she's saying, like, there's no smoking gun. There's nothing in on there. So do you feel as though Nancy Pelosi kind of was forced to show her hand on this, or do you think that she knows what she's doing on this?
So to me, not only does she not 100% have the votes ready for impeachment in the House. Remember, guys, to the audience, impeachment doesn't mean you're kicked out of office. It has to then go to the Senate. I just want to remind everybody.
Yeah.
I think she has the votes. I think she actually has an investigation, which is why the ifs will be answered. Okay. You have an inquiry. That's the whole point. We're going to answer some questions.
Right, and if she does her due diligence and it moves forward and then it gets stopped in the Senate, like we all know that it will be because it's Republican controlled, then what? Then the voters are just fatigued and annoyed that we're watching months and months of back and forth on who's wrong.
Then we should just let Trump do whatever.
No, we shouldn't let him do. I think we should move forward with due process, right? That's why we have Congress to do checks and balances.
So we should impeach.
But he won't get kicked out of office, and so then therefore.
I agree, but I want it on the historical record that this man crossed a line.
And it'll also be on the historical record that he will win again in 2020.
Ooh.
Because people are independent are going to be like, what is all this for? Either they're going to not vote or go do the same thing that we just saw in 2016.
It's sad that this being a constitutional crisis will make people, if you think, will actually make them believe in his base. So now we're having a dictator, and you're saying that's rallying the base. That scares me.
I'm just saying what happened last time.
All right. Interesting, guys. Whew. All right, well, shocking, guys. New police body cam footage just released. A former Dallas cop shot and killed a man in his own apartment when she mistakenly went in thinking it was her place. Well, 31-year-old Amber Guyger says it was self-defense. In her trial, which started this week and yesterday, body cam footage showing the moments just after were played in court, and we have that video for you. Take a look. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
There's also just rumors that they then moved Amber out of body cam footage and let the cops turn off the body cam. So there's some rumor that's going on with corruption there. Brandon, how do you feel about this?
I mean, I want justice. I want justice for not only the victim, but the family as well. And everyone's saying, oh, this is manslaughter. This is manslaughter. Well, plead to manslaughter then.
Right.
Don't try and fight it with a self-defense claim.
Right.
Plead to manslaughter because, Tori, I understand we're all tired at the end of the day. You know, she worked, what, 40 hours in 3 or 4 days. I understand that.
14-hour shift.
14-hour shift. But when you go into your apartment complex, I know which unit is mine. I know when I'm on my right hall, I know that there's a Packers flag waving on one of my neighbor's doors and all that.
Let's just say she did think it was the wrong apartment, as she seems to say right here. Yep. Am I right? Why then shoot someone who's sitting down in his shorts and then say self-defense? Am I right?
Right. He was just chilling, eating ice cream.
He was eating
so
ice
I think
cream.
that his family wants vanilla.
Yeah.
But it's not funny though. I think his family wants justice, and I liken it to when you're driving a car and you're texting and driving. She was sexting at the time, which is not a crime.
That's right.
She's just chilling and enjoying her day, but not paying attention.
Right.
So if you're texting and driving and hit someone on the street, you then will go to court and probably go to jail.
And
so this is the same exact thing to me. She needs to plead guilty and go to jail.
I hope she goes to jail.
And there's a Texas Penal Code section 9.41 says it explains that a person is, thank you, I'm a fancy person. When we're talking about trespassers and burglars, it says that it explains that a person is allowed to use force, but not deadly force to terminate a mere trespass or interference with property. That man was not doing anything but sitting there eating Haagen-Dazs, and now he's dead, and the family has to sit there and mourn. She needs to be locked up.
DBL Nation, do you agree with all of us here? We feel really strongly about this one. All right, this is going to surprise you, this story. What's the best liquid when you're dehydrated?
Pedialyte.
It's not. Surprisingly, a new study says plain old water is not the best. Guys, it's not even in the top 5. So according to St. Andrews University in Scotland, skim milk rehydration solutions like Pedialyte, full fat milk, OJ, and cola are the most hydrating. Now, the next most hydrating drinks are tea, sports drinks, and then finally comes still and sparkling water, and believe it or not, lager. The list. I love the Scots. All right, is this just a BS thing?
Come on.
No.
I mean, right?
Something's in the water over there in Scotland.
Yeah.
Literally. I'm
Loch Ness
lost.
Monster.
Exactly. And there's no way that you're telling me that Diet Coke and Coke hydrates you more than water.
No. Chocolate milk is something that we use to hydrate ourselves after practices and after games.
This real? You're being serious?
I'm being dead serious because chocolate milk gives you protein. Chocolate milk sits in your stomach a little bit longer, and then it allows a lot of the liquid to get out and hydrate you faster.
I'll take that, but I'll raise you this. Would you ever finish football practice in 100-degree heat and down a Diet Cola?
Absolutely not. But a Yoo-hoo, I'd be on a Yoo-hoo in a heartbeat.
Yoo-hoo I'll give you, but a Diet Cola.
So he's nitpicking through the study, like, I'll take this, I'll leave that.
I don't know about this study.
Yeah, I don't.
But
who's back in the study?
Y'all were milk shaming me yesterday.
The Coke companies.
Y'all were milk shaming me yesterday, and
you
now
bring eggnog for breakfast. It's weird.
Yeah, and eggnog will hydrate me for this too. And speaking of that lager, at break, I'm gonna go hydrate.
Oh boy. DBL's live coming up. A mother's battle to save her child is never over. How undying love is helping a boy fight an extremely rare disease, and the hope that could be on the horizon. And you, the viewer, you're the fifth host. San Francisco residents, they're fed up, guys, with homeless running rampant across the city. So they're taking matters into their own hands. But are their tactics inhumane? Your comments coming up next.
Hi, DBL Nation. Kelly Schubert here, the DBL digital team. I've got some good news for Brandon, so let's go to the desk. Hey, Brandon, guess what?
What's that?
I was ordering my Royal Crest milk yesterday, and do you know what they have on there already?
I jumped
Eggnog.
at it.
Eggnog's back, baby.
Eggnog is back.
I knew you-
Eggnog is never gone. Eggnog has never left.
It's
But
disgusting.
since I moved, the little bodegas around my area now, they don't have eggnog.
no,
The
they
one
only
place
have
they
it
had
during
it year
Christmas
round.
time, yeah?
The one place I had it was year round
Oh,
in
really,
Capitol
in New
Hill.
York?
No, here in Denver.
Oh, they
Because remember
did?
I used to come in with
Yeah.
eggnog at random times?
I
You
thought
like
that was
spiked
good.
eggnog?
He loves eggnog in the morning.
Absolutely.
Eggnog
I
is
love
so gross.
It's so good for
Spiked
your
eggnog
stomach.
is good.
No
Dude,
eggnog for me.
I'm lactose intolerant. I don't care for eggnog.
I love milk. Don't get me wrong. I love skim milk, but
just not-
eggnog.
So we have some people commenting
is
on our
even
outfits,
eggnog?
so I really want to talk about that because that's important.
Okay,
people
let's
are
do
absolutely
it.
loving this
Hey,
pink
y'all.
outfit.
Thank
absolutely
you.
loving it.
On Wednesdays, we wear pink.
Oh,
remember?
Jonathan Bennett was on the show. He co-hosted. I love that. Your
She
necklace
looks like a
is getting
pink
a shout
Laffy
out.
Taffy.
Shake that
Travis,
Laffy Taffy.
Travis, grab that necklace. This is also being commented
Thanks,
on.
guys.
And then this outfit, just so you know, I got a J. Crew factory outlet, and then
Love it.
Kiri
Looks great.
paired it with a black turtleneck.
Who'd have thunk it?
It's fall perfection, you guys.
Exactly. With
Fall
turtleneck.
perfection.
But I wouldn't have done that.
Were you under wear it with what? Like you had
Nothing.
Nothing.
Just nothing under?
See, I'm not good, guys.
Nothing under is extreme.
Wait, you gotta see your shoes. Look
Yeah,
at
it
your
is a little
shoes.
straw.
Show the shoes.
Okay. And I would never have paired it with that.
Just don't.
Don't worry. I like thick socks.
I
Don't
have
worry
to
about
address
it.
something.
Okay.
Marquita Baker.
Yeah.
You say you've never had eggnog.
Marquita.
You got to check back in when you've had eggnog, please. You're on comment silence.
No, you are not.
You're on radio comment
guys.
silence
I'm gonna
until
read the
you've
first
had
comment.
eggnog. It's
No,
the
we're
best
gonna
drink
read it.
in the
Oh, that's a
world.
good question.
And then I
Best
read the
drink in
second
the
one?
world.
Can
No,
you
but
ask
thanks
me-
for writing there, Marquita. You got to try eggnog.
Can you
It's the
read the first
greatest.
comment?
Spiked eggnog, even better.
Is that okay?
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host when we talk about what you're talking about. So frustrated San Francisco residents have come up with a rocky solution to prevent homeless people from taking over their sidewalks, literally. So they've placed boulders along their streets, and it seems to be preventing the growing homeless population from setting up camps in their neighborhood. But some residents and homeless advocates are calling this totally inhumane. So DBL Nation, is this the right solution, boulders, or is this inhumane? Brandon, let's kick it off.
All right. Joey from Facebook says the boulders may have helped with the problem on the block, but the solution was a cruel one. Joey, they call this anti-homeless architecture. I don't want to sound inhumane, but I'm kind of for this in a way, because there's one thing as a homeowner or you're renting in a certain area or a neighborhood and you're paying X amount of money, and then you have a whole tent city set up and you have needles, you got cans, that sort of litter all over the place, and you have to clean that up. Your neighbors have to clean that up. So I can see
that's
why
fair
they
to
would put
say.
that up. I can see why they would put this
That's an
up there
honest
to
thing to
deter
say.
them away.
Okay, so Zoe from Facebook says, we've got to do something. I feel like there is nothing being done. And Zoe, I understand we have to do something, but I think if they have the time and resources to put up boulders all over the place, use those same time and resources to find safe spaces for people that don't have homes and have a heart.
That's a really...
But that's not fair, Lindsay.
What do you mean? We pay taxes. That can be something that we look into doing.
I understand that, but that's something that you need to be saying something to the government. The people there in San Francisco who they feel as though they had to do something. The residents had to do something because they said that the government or the legislators involved aren't doing anything. So they had to set this up.
What about saying this is a public nuisance? For instance, if you have a business and someone's sleeping out in front of it, would you not want that person just for business sake to move? And I'm just trying to...
I would, but I would really like if we had some more homeless shelters in the area, if we had some food banks in the area, somewhere for people to go. I don't think that people just really want to say, yeah, let me go sleep on that bench. That's going to be comfortable tonight. It's like worst come to worst, last resort.
Interesting.
And so we're just really giving them no hope to do anything to get their lives back together.
But is that on me as a resident?
That's a great question. Well, Megan from Facebook says this is a form of bullying, and it actually is a name. It's anti-homeless architecture. Isn't that funny? That's interesting. Some people, it's so interesting, the perspective on that. Brandon brought that up as actually a good point, and you're bringing that up as sort of a bullying point. I got to be really honest here. I don't think boulders are humane, but I would not want, as a business person, a bunch of trash and a lot of homeless people outside. Now, do I think there needs to be more homeless centers? Yes. Do I think taxes need to go there? Yes. But what is a San Francisco citizen to do if they don't have that right to make a homeless shelter and they don't want their business to go under? They have a family to feed, right? Like, do you see that point of view too?
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying.
It's just a hard thing to talk about. Go ahead.
All right, let's get to my man Dan from Facebook says the sidewalk outside of where I live is not a place for you to shoot up and stay overnight. Dan, I kind of share that same sentiment, but at the same time, not every homeless person is out there to shoot up and do drugs,
Absolutely
that sort of thing. Some of them, like Lindsay said, it's their last resort. But at the same time,
and many veterans.
I do not want to walk outside and have cups and cans and kitty litter all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to have to be the one to clean that up. So either the city comes in and cleans this thing up and finds somewhere to put these people, or they're going to have to put up anti-homeless architecture.
It's a lot to ask the people who are homeless to go to their city council and say, hey, do something for us. So I hope the residents would have the empathy in their heart to start to do that. They really want some change.
But I look at this as a last resort for them as well. Maybe they have gone to the city council.
This is interesting, guys. Let us know where you feel. Are you Team Brandon? Are you Team Lindsay? Or do you just like my outfit? Coming up on DBL, a mom will stop at nothing to get the medical help her child needs to survive. How you can help too. Coming up next.
If you're
Nation.
I didn't want to get in there.
Here's the comment. Here's the comment of the day. Marquita Baker, you've been listening. I told her she can't comment. I was joking around. I said she can't comment on DBL Nation until she tries eggnog. Marquita says, I promise, and promises in caps, so I'm gonna hold you to it. I will try it for the holidays,
It's
Brandon.
good, but I only like spiked
Checking in with
eggnog.
you.
You gotta throw some rum in there. My friend Becky makes it really good. Have a Christmas party. I might have one. I invite Marquito.
That's why I said, like, let me call you out.
I'll take your friends.
You just said you don't like the eggnog.
I don't like it by itself. I like it spiked as a drink around the holidays only.
No, they have hotlines for that.
Very specific. Yeah, I have a very specific
No,
taste.
it doesn't need it. I'll drink it in the summertime.
That's the difference between you and I.
But let's go back.
One of many.
Let's go back to because people are writing in on the boulder thing. Kevin Ing says instead of putting up boulder blocks, why not trying to find a way to help the homeless get back on their feet? Who's that? Kevin. Thank you for writing that in. But if I walk by a homeless person, I give them $5. Isn't that me helping them get back on their feet? Do I have to go and
You
set
don't
up a
understand.
homeless
If you have a
shelter?
business, there's just like you follow rules to get the business, you should follow these same rules to try to fix it to its best potential, right? And one of those would be talking to your local government, making it how you want it.
Yeah, I know
Is this
you would.
me?
That's why I asked you.
Who's introing this?
To be continued.
Welcome back to DBL. None of us are promised tomorrow, and that's a realization one Denver mom understands all too well. DBL co-host Sam Shocker recently sat down with Amber, a mom whose young son was diagnosed with an incredibly rare genetic disorder. There is no treatment plan for young Maxwell, but Amber is on a mission to change that. Her strength and something we can all aspire to. Here's their amazing story.
Can you get some? Good boy. Good, Maxwell.
Amber, what's your dream for Maxwell?
No. I want him to be happy. I I want him to be healthy and happy in whatever capacity that looks like for him. The only thing in life I ever wanted was to be a mother, and I went through 2 years of IVF, and my dream was coming true. We made a video for the twins driving to the hospital because we were so excited to meet them. Max and Riley, if we get to meet you today, we love you. And I just watch that every single time I have a hard day, and it just reminds me of how much I love them. I have twins. And they should be about the same. And at about 4 months old, Riley started grabbing rattles and touching my face.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
And Maxwell would just lay there. And then one day it occurred to me, Maxwell has never held a rattle. It was the weirdest thing, but I knew at that moment something was wrong. I went from doctor to doctor to doctor. Everyone kept telling me, you're wrong. And then finally, we got in front of the right doctor.
You've been through this
and
before.
he held Maxwell for 5 minutes, and then he handed him back and he said, you're right, something's really wrong.
What were you feeling as a mother?
I was trying not to puke. I was trying so hard just not to collapse myself. They sat us down and they said, your son has SLC 6A1. There's not enough information on this disease to know what the life expectancy is. We're gonna learn that from you.
How does it affect Maxwell?
He's extremely delayed. He is nonverbal. He struggles very much to use his hands at all.
What's the most difficult and what's the highlight, if you will?
Between the ages of 3 and 4, children with this disorder develop a really debilitating form of epilepsy. So the children are just mostly in a complete state of seizure, and they start losing all of the skills they gained because they're incurring permanent neurological damage. He started having neurological activity on October 17th last year, and I remember the day because I saw it in his eyes. I saw something was wrong, and it was sooner than it should have been, and we were able to stop it. And I just remember thinking that this is it. This is it, it's starting. And I just spent the whole day crying so hard I couldn't breathe. And so the worst part of every day is just wondering if today is the day. And the unknown, and the best part is looking at his little face and seeing him love music now. Like, you'll see him the second he starts dancing. He is walking now. We didn't think that would ever happen. And he's walking, he can dance, he can clap. It's huge. We received our diagnosis a year ago, and we're fully on the way to the cure now.
There you are.
And it's not an if, but it's a when.
You're unbelievable. You really are. You're such a powerful person. You really are.
That is an advocate. Well, Maxwell's mom says he's doing okay, but his disease is progressing. Research is happening right now in mice to help find a treatment for Maxwell. But guys, they need more money to continue the fight. So if you want to help, please go to GoFundMe.com and search Milestones for Maxwell. Give anything you can, $5, or just share this post. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Welcome to DBL. We are live, and we're talking about what you're talking about right now. Let's get started.
The people that we need to lead won't lead because they wouldn't stoop to the mudslinging that you would have to do to get elected.
Well, if we do nothing, expect everyone to go insane.
Straight people have never been stoned and tried to be killed for being straight.
I'm actually in shock watching that video.
There's two completely different narratives. I don't think we have enough information.
This is that social injustice that Colin Kaepernick took a knee for.
And if you want it to be a bad thing, you only want Trump to be wrong, and that's not good.
That's how you get out of quicksand, Al.
Oh, good. I'll take that with me never.
You know what this panel needs is more cowl neck.
I've hurt myself. You
Sam.
can be rich and still humble like Jay-Z and Beyonce. Sorry.
Oh, there you are.
That's embarrassing.
I'm done. It was their child in school. And that's the reality. Like, my heart broke.
The only thing that really gave me joy in this life is when I see my kids and I can hug them.
Until recently, I felt like I was one of the only ones.
And they said, you're making this up to your mom?
Oh, I love that.
But no.
Big Jeff gets tired.
Okay.
This is another day and another remake. This time it's Walker, Texas Ranger. Al's excited here. CBS confirmed the 90s action series is coming back as a show called Walker. Only this time, beloved star Chuck Norris won't be the main character. I know, it's going to star Jared Padalecki. But many people online are voicing their concern about messing with this classic. So, DBL Nation, what do you think? Would you watch this reboot?
That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard.
Well, you know, I mean, I'm assuming Chuck's probably pushing 80.
He's still doing Copperfield commercials.
So Walker would have another meaning.
I do have some Chuck Norris jokes for you guys. Do you want to hear them?
Yes, this is.
All right,
this
so
pertains to
clap
the
if you
Walker
guys-
text. Now, were you a fan of the show?
Yeah, I was a huge fan of the show. So this is Chuck Norris. You guys know him. It was Walker, Texas Ranger. There might be a reboot. He might not make it. Here's some great Chuck Norris jokes. So clap in the studio if you like the joke. Chuck Norris can pick oranges from an apple tree and make the best lemonade you've ever tasted. Okay. Chuck Norris once put out a forest fire using only gasoline. Okay. Chuck Norris slaps a television and invents the flat screen. 30 seconds. When Chuck Norris was born, he drove his mom home from the hospital.
Oh, I like that one. I like that one.
Okay, there's one. Okay. How about this? Chuck Norris rides a unicycle, pops a wheelie. Okay. Chuck Norris boards a plane in mid-flight. Okay, all right. Well, be good to each other. We're all fighting an uphill battle. Welcome back to DBL. All right, everyone knows not to mess with a mama bear. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, now the same goes for a mama walrus. Okay, a female walrus in the Arctic sunk a Russian Navy boat. The boat was on an expedition and was headed to shore when the walrus attacked. Apparently, the walrus was protecting her calves.
I say this every time. I don't mess with the deep sea, okay? This is ridiculous.
You gotta watch Planet Earth, Deep Ocean. You gotta watch Our
He's
Planet.
really into Planet
I'm
Earth.
into that type of
The
stuff.
walrus was 12 foot long,
Okay.
1.5 tons.
Okay.
Get your boat out of Dodge. It's not about anything besides stay away from the sea
All right,
animals.
fine. I am the walrus. We'll stay away. Really quick, we want to give a big shout out to Susie
Big
Ranger.
shout out.
Happy birthday!
It's my mom's birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mommy.
Wait. Happy birthday.
Oh, wait, you might have to pay for that song.
Happy birthday.
I don't know if we have to pay for that.
All right, we'll see you same time, same place. Well, there